Eden by Obsessmuch. Read by Coffee Girl 1236 or Sarah. Disclaimer. I don't own any of what is being read. Names and places are owned by J.K. Rowling and W.B. Story was written by Obsessmuch on fanfiction.net. Supports official release. Lol. But mostly just don't sue me. Chapter 1. Capture.
This story is set in the trio's 7th year of Hogwarts, when Harry, Ron, and Hermione are 17 and 18. Pretend Deathly Hallows never happened while reading this story for simplicity's sake. Like fluff, you're in the wrong place. Romance, wrong place. Comedy, happy endings, thrills, spills, laughs, and games, wrong place. Parental advisory, explicit lyrics. Warning, not for the faint-hearted. Read at your own risk. Danger, high voltage. Want some PWP? Go to the lovely place at adultfanfiction.net. They have an array of suitable titles. Mind the step. Hermione is not a kick-ass super witch, nor is she weak, feeble, and useless. She likes Ron, in a like way. She lacks confidence. I will not be writing her in any other way. Keep out of reach of children. Lucius Malfoy is not a nice man who is simply misunderstood, nor is he a perverse rapist. Even taking into account the final book, it is my opinion that he is an evil, pure-blood supremacist, and I have no intention of redeeming him. Caution. Highly flammable. Nor have I any intention to portray Ron Weasley as a moron. I adore Ron, so that's that. Rated M for strong violence, explicit language, and sexual content. This is not a Lucius kidnaps Hermione and they have to sex them time story. This is a story about hatred, obsession, fear, and prejudice, not about sex and lust. Well, not just about sex and lust. Warning, thunderstorms likely. Take cover. Still interested? Then take my hand and take a walk with me on the dark side. You might always enjoy it. You don't know unless you try. Just jump in. I dare you. Of man's first disobedience, and the fruit of the forbidden tree, whose mortal taste brought death into the world, and all our woes, with loss of Eden. John Milton, Paradise Lost. She was a bossy sort of girl. Oh boy, she had a fuck me, dude. What? Oh, bitch. Okay. She had a bossy sort of voice. Lots of bushy brown hair and rather large front teeth. Nobody in my family is magic at all. It was ever such a surprise when I got my letter. But I was ever so pleased. I learned all of our set books off by heart. Of course, I just hope it will be enough. I'm Hermione Granger. J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The man who followed could only be Draco's father. He had the same pale, pointed face and identical cold gray eyes. Mr. Malfoy's eyes had returned to Hermione, who went slightly pink, but stared determinedly back at him. Harry knew exactly what was making Mr. Malfoy's lip curl. The Malfoys prided themselves on being pure blood. In other words, they considered anyone of Muggle descent, like Hermione, second class. J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Death Eaters, among us once more. A source from the Ministry of Magic has told the prophet that there has, once again, been a mass breakout from Azkaban. Our informant, who wishes to remain anonymous, claims the new security measures put in place after the assertion of the death of the Dementors were not enough to keep 6 dangerous prisoners locked up. They, the Ministry, tried almost everything. I lost count on how many new spells they put on the place. They put hundreds of Aurors on guard duty. At one point they even thought of using trolls as security backup, but nothing could match up to the effectiveness of the Dementors. The prisoners could feel happiness, and so were, I believe, able to keep their heads and plan their escape. Our source wished to make it clear that it is yet unknown how the prisoners escaped. However, they not only claim that there are 6 escapees are known Death Eaters, but also that the Ministry was fully aware of the breakout and that a cover-up is being attempted. The minister doesn't want the public to know that he's failed to protect them. He's built his reputation on being strong, and doesn't want to lose his job after only a year. Rufus Scribjaw has refused to comment on this story. I sit back after reading this article, allowing the newspaper to fall onto my desk. I don't know why this has shocked me. There's been a bigger breakout than this before. It's not as if it's entirely unexpected. It's always been the Dementors that kept the prisoners where they are, not Azkaban itself. I suppose we all knew, deep down, that it was only a matter of time before the prisoners would manage to escape. All the same, knowing that it was probably going to happen anyway doesn't make it any better. Doesn't make things any better. 6 more Death Eaters are on the loose, as if the Order needs more trouble. What with Dumbledore's death and Snape's defection. I pick up the paper and read the article again, my eyes skimming over the tiny black print. It doesn't say who has escaped. It could be anyone. All it says is there are 6 of them. I put the paper down and walk over to my window. There's a hollow, tickling feeling in the pit of my stomach, and it's hard to feel frightened. It's not hard to feel frightened these days. But the thought of Voldemort's army growing in size just reminds me of how bad things are getting. Ever since Dumbledore's death, I've been wondering whether we can really win this war. And I'm scared. I don't like admitting it, but it's true. I'm scared for my family and my friends and the Order. For myself. I reach my window and find myself frightened to look out onto the street. It's so stupid, I know, but I'm afraid of what I might see. I haven't felt like this since I was little, when I was scared of the dark and I had to sleep with my landing light on. I'd pull my bed covers up over my head, too frightened to look out into the darkness of my room in case there was something there. Are you still 5 years old, Hermione? Looking out the window. I lean forward nervously, looking up into the street, and I see nothing. Well, I see the dark suburban road and parked cars and identical houses and the moon and the black sky. There's nothing at all unusual out there. I sigh and lean against the window, pressing my forehead against the cold glass. Some Gryffindor I am, too scared to even look out my bloody window at the street I've lived on since the day I was born. But even as I look at every patch of darkness, every shadow seems to become a Death Eater's robe. I bite the inside of my cheek before I turn away from the window and sit down at my desk, pulling one of my legs up and hugging it to myself for comfort. I'll feel safer at the burrow. Fail. Yes, the burrow. It won't just be me and Ron staying there for Bill and Fleur's wedding. There'll be loads of fully grown wizards about and protecting charms. On the building itself, I imagine. It won't just be me on my own. And I won't be putting my parents in danger. I'm really looking forward to going, actually. The Weasleys are a laugh. Fred and George will be there for the wedding, so it certainly won't be a quiet week. And Mrs. Weasley's food is always great. I'll see Harry and Jenny and Ron. I smile to myself and press my forehead to my knee. I don't know. Now that he's done and a bit of growing up and Lavender's out of the way, things could happen. I hug my knee tighter to my chest. I want to giggle, and I don't know why. No, actually, I know why all too well. Get a grip, Hermione. Maybe after the wedding? After the wedding. Ron and I have told Harry that after the wedding we will go with him, wherever he goes.